You may have been learning about or even experiencing living in Boise, Idaho, and think, man, the Boise, Idaho is just about the perfect place to live. Well, just like no one is perfect, no place to live comes without its flaws. And yes, even Boise, the Golden Star relocation destinations, has a few negatives you should know about. And today we are focusing on something that no one likes, Boise's biggest dirty little secret, inversion. So listen up as I actually show you exactly what to expect from inversion, what it is, how long it lasts, and how to easily get a break from it. Now, it's not that inversion is a secret because anyone that lives here is trying to keep it from you. It's just that once you live here a while, you get used to it and forget that people moving from other climates are not quite as used to it. So, what is inversion? Quite simply, inversion is a weather pattern where that warmer air overlays the colder air and traps that colder air down in the valley with the warmer air at the higher elevations. The longer it lasts, the colder it gets, and sometimes we can have an inversion weather pattern without a cloud layer, but most often it comes with a gray cloud layer. So this past December of 2024, we had an inversion layer that lasted a good 2 weeks or so. So I got as much video for you as I could so you could see what it's really like. So that's what you'll be seeing as we talk about everything else you should expect with inversion in the Boise, Idaho area. As you'll see here, as I drive around Eagle, Idaho during this round of inversion, we also had high humidity and fog, resulting in layers of frost forming on everything, which was actually quite spectacular to see. It is not typical for the Boise, Idaho area to have fog combined with inversion. But this is a unique combination that made the air still enough for the frost to form from the high humidity, creating what I think is called rime ice. According to the online AI resources, rime ice is the frost layers that form when it is foggy, the air is still, and water drops freeze to solids, creating this very spiky but soft frost formation on everything. And the beauty of this rime ice made the longer inversion that we had at this time much more enjoyable, as this unique combination is quite rare here. So some people were calling this the hoarfrost, but that is when the frost forms when the sky is clear. The air is still, the humidity is low, so a few times a year we will get the hoarfrost too, which is beautiful because it is on clear, sunny days and everything sparkles in the sunshine. But this rime ice isn't on the road or anything, so it doesn't make for dangerous driving conditions as far as the ice goes. But the fog, mixed with the inversion layer over the top, made for a kind of Twilight Zone feeling driving around as you couldn't see your usual landmarks to get your bearings. You'll also notice that in some areas it looks like it snowed. Well, it did snow, sort of. This is inversion snow, which I don't actually know why we can get it, but it's very sporadic pockets of inversion snow. It's these little harder white tiny snowballs, not regular snow, and it doesn't come from a regular snow cloud system coming, so the weather people don't predict it, but inversion can also produce this snow in very patchy areas. The best way to get a break from the inversion is to get to higher elevation above the inversion layer where the sun comes out and the temperature is actually warmer up higher than it is under the inversion layer in the valley. So I drove up Highway 16, the highway between Star and Eagle that takes you to Emmett, to see if the inversion would break up as we got up the hill. So as we drive up 16, let's talk about the temperatures to expect with inversion. Since inversion traps cold air lower, typically you can expect the temperatures to be below freezing when the inversion sets in. Here is a little side trip into the brand new community of Valnova to see if it is above the inversion layer. And I pull over to check the temperature here. It is 29 degrees and it actually feels much colder than that due to all of the moisture from the fog. So that is quite cold, but we have often had inversions where the temperature in the valley gets in the highs into the low 20s and the lows into the teens, and rarely, but it can happen, we've had times where with the inversion, the temperature can be in the teens for the highs and below 0 for the lows. So we drop down the top of Freeze Out Hill into Emmett, and at least on this day, the inversion did not break up at the peak of the hill. Sometimes the inversion layer sits lower in the valley and you can get some sunshine by going up just a little bit. Sometimes it sits higher in the valley, but there is one place to escape to in the area that never gets covered by the inversion layer, and that is our beautiful local ski resort, Bogus Basin. Bogus Basin is right off of Bogus Basin Road, which comes right out of downtown Boise, So let's head up to see where the inversion layer breaks so we can see the sun. So with those cold temperatures that come with inversion, it usually starts out cold, around freezing or so for the daytime highs. And the longer the inversion draws on, without seeing the sun, the colder it gets. We can have an inversion weather pattern for a day, and we can actually have it for weeks. But it usually comes and goes. So some winters we have had inversion several different times for short periods. Some winters we never get inversion. Some winters we have one long inversion. So the short inversion patterns aren't a big deal, but the problem with the longer inversion patterns, besides the cold and missing the sunshine, is that the air is stagnant and the air quality can become unhealthy. We've lived here over 20 years. I do remember one winter, maybe over a decade ago, where the inversion stuck around for probably 6 weeks or so, and the air quality became so unhealthy that they kept kids inside from recess. And honestly, when you get that deep cold for more than a couple of weeks and you don't see the sunshine at all, it can be really lame and you question not only your move to Boise, but also all of your life choices. So that is rare, but it can happen. Okay, we are getting higher up on Bogus Basin Road, and I think I see that it will be clearing out soon. So hooray, we are finally above the inversion layer. We are about 15 minutes still from the actual ski resort, about 20 minutes out of downtown Boise, but you can see that today there is a normal cloud layer as well. The sun is masked by the high cloud coverage with a slight blue sky break in between it and the inversion layer sitting in the valley, creating a very surreal look. I met a couple of other people up here taking pictures, and they said they love it when Boise has inversion because it gives such unique photo opportunities when you get above the inversion layer. And I didn't drive all the way up to Bogus since the sun was setting, but the quickest way to get a break from inversion and get your sunshine is to drive up to Bogus Basin. Locals even set up their trucks up there and have tailgate parties in the sun when there is inversion in Boise. They bring a little fire pit, some drinks, they pack a lunch, and enjoy the sunshine. So it's not Hawaii warmth up there or anything, but often with inversion in the valley, it can be close to 50 degrees with the sun shining up at the Bogus Basin parking lot, while it's 25 degrees down in Boise. Okay, heading back down the mountain, we do head back into the fog and the inversion layer. So on a different day during this same time frame of inversion, this is driving up Highway 55 and out of Eagle towards Horseshoe Bend to see where the inversion layer broke up. And I take a side trip into Avamore, as sometimes Avamore can be above the inversion layer. This time it was not. As far as the air quality with inversion goes, yes, it can get unhealthy as it lasts longer. So anyone sensitive to that will stay inside for those days. But because when we have the inversion layer, how long it lasts and how bad the air quality may get is so different every year, the fact that we can have inversion doesn't seem to make sensitive individuals move away from here. It is a weather pattern like having an extra hot week or an extra snowy week. So you just stay inside if you need to until the weather pattern changes. So on this day, it does look like the inversion layer breaks up at a lower elevation at the Horseshoe Bend summit. So that's a quick and easy way to get away to go see the sun as well. And this time there are no clouds in the sky, so it's a beautiful blue sunny day up above the layer. So back down into the inversion layer, and I stopped by the overlook at the Veterans Cemetery on the northwest side of Boise. So again, you can see this combination of fog, inversion layer, and the rime ice. It's quite beautiful, but cold. It's perfect weather for hot tea, a warm fire, and a nice book. And finally, after 2 to 3 weeks for this inversion, it breaks up, and here is that same view just a day after I took the last shot. The magical frost is gone, and you can see that there is actually still a little layer of inversion here that hasn't quite broken up all the way. It can look like haze, but you know it's inversion because of the temperature differences between the valley and the higher elevations. So while Boise, Idaho does make a nearly perfect place to live, in my humble opinion, living in Boise, Idaho does mean dealing with the inversion once in a while. But now you know a bit more about it, and hopefully that helps you with any worries you may have about it. I love the sunshine, and the Boise, Idaho winters have many, many more days of sunshine, cold, but the sun is out, than it does days with clouds or inversions. But now you know the secrets of Boise's inversions. So providing education on all the details of what to expect with living in Boise, Idaho is what we do. Remember to subscribe so you don't miss any new videos. You can get much more information, including a free relocation guide, sign up for our newsletter, and more on our website at summerastonrealestate.com. You can contact us there to ask more questions or set up a phone call about relocating, buying, or selling a home in the Boise, Idaho area, and we are happy to help. Remember to follow us on Instagram as we post daily there with much more Boise information. Thanks so much for watching, and we look forward to talking with you.